Okay. So thank you everybody for coming to today's webinar for the Medium and Heavy Duty Mobile Charging Solutions RFP. Before we get started, I just want to do a few housekeeping items. One thing of note is that we will not be answering questions during this webinar, but we do encourage you to put all of your questions in the Q&A because we will be answering them later on and getting back to you with all of the answers. Second, this is going to be recorded. So if you missed something or if you want to watch it again, we really encourage you, to just, sorry, we don't encourage you to do anything. We will send you an email with the recording, and it also will be on the website with the questions as we answer them. They'll all get posted to the program webpage, which we'll let you know about. Also, we're going to encourage everybody to look at our Slack channel for this RFP. So if there are any partners that you want to work with on this application, we encourage you to chat there. And as for today, during the webinar itself, I would really love it if everyone could just take a second to introduce themselves in the chat. That way we know who's here, and maybe you can find some partners to work with on this RFP as well. Okay. Now that I've talked for a couple of minutes, I'd just like to introduce myself. My name is Devin DeLibero, and I am the program manager working on this program. And you will hear from me today, but also my coworker, who I will let introduce herself.
Hi all, I'm Claire Hazard, a program administrator on the Mass CEC Clean Transportation team, working with Devin on this program.
Yeah, so you'll generally be hearing from either myself or Claire if you have any questions or just about anything on this program. Before we move into talk about the program itself, I just want to go over who we are as Mass CEC and the type of work that we do. So Mass CEC is a quasi-public state agency with the dual mission of reducing greenhouse gases across the state and accelerating Massachusetts' clean energy economy. We do this through a few different sectors. Our climate tech team works on emerging and early stage clean energy technology. The offshore wind team deploys offshore wind technology, and our workforce development team supports clean energy job training and placement. This program we're talking about today sits within the accelerating decarbonization sector of Mass CEC, which designs and administers grant programs and underfunding opportunities to pilot and demonstrate innovative and equitable technologies, business models, partnership structures, and so on, so that those learnings can be passed on and scaled across the Commonwealth. Now, as for what we're going to be talking about today, when we talk about the program, we're going to start talking about program background and goals. Then we're going to talk about the scope of work, which is 3 scopes. Then we'll move on to budget and eligibility, how to apply, application resources, application timelines, and then we have an FAQ slide because, as previously stated, we're not answering any questions today, but we tried to answer as many questions as we could from all the questions that you put in the registration. And so hopefully that'll be a good jumping off point. So first we'll go with program background and goals. For the background, the Electric Vehicle Coordinating Council, also known as EVIC, awarded Mass CEC American Rescue Plan Act, or ARPA, funds in early 2024 to advance EV charging infrastructure installation across the Commonwealth. This comes from a pot of $38 million. Of course, we're not getting the full $38 million for this program. We are getting $5.43 million for this program. As for the barriers we're trying to address here, the program aims to address the barriers to EVSE installment for medium and heavy duty fleets through the deployment of mobile charging stations. There are barriers included in finding charging stations for medium and heavy duty fleets include EVSE right sizing, facility upgraded installation delays, and facility ownership structures. So we're hoping the mobile charging solutions can, make that much easier for folks. The goals of the program are to increase access to mobile charging and reduce barriers to EV adoption for medium and heavy duty fleet owners and operators in Massachusetts, to pilot innovative mobile charging stations that can be scaled across the Commonwealth, to develop resources for medium and heavy duty fleet owners and operators in Massachusetts to implement mobile charging solutions independently. And finally, to ensure that small and diverse Massachusetts-based businesses are included in the program and meaningfully compensated to foster Massachusetts workforce development. Now moving on, we'll go into the scope of work. The first scope is for program management and reporting. The summary of the scope is basically that the technical consultant will conduct ongoing program management for the program. Program management and reporting will continue throughout the program in conjunction with work conducted on all other tasks. The primary tasks associated with this scope are oversight of the program and communication between MassCC, the technical consultant team, and project stakeholders. Also to develop a data collection method for program metrics and provide quarterly reports and monthly updates to MassCC, and then provide a final report summarizing program benefits, lessons learned, and recommendations for programming at scale. The second scope is implementation. So the scope summary is that the technical consultant is responsible for the implementation and technical assistance of mobile charging projects for the selected cohort of fleets. The implementation projects will fund the procurement and or installation of mobile charging EVSE at selected sites. And the technical consultant will also support the fleet owners through technical assistance and project management. Scope 2 will support planning and implementation of charging projects. So it's like kind of like the meat of the project. The primary tasks within this scope are to develop the fleet selection process with MassCC, conduct a technology inventory to identify available mobile charging solutions, carry out project design through project agreements, on-site assessments and recommendations, and EVSE procurement, project implementation, ongoing support, and a maintenance/operations plan. Finally, we are on scope number 3. This slide is a little bit different in the way we laid it out because there are only 2 tasks within scope 3, and scope 3 is final fleet reports and public facing resources. So the scope summary and tasks are task 1 is the technical consultant will provide final commissioning reports specific to each fleet. Involved in that are maintenance and operations plans, if applicable, contract transfer of EVSE, again, if applicable, recommendations for future charging solutions, procurement and site utility interconnection and incentive guidance. And then the next task is to develop a public facing resource, which could be like a pamphlet, a 1-pager, really whatever, the technical consultant and MassCC deem appropriate. And with that public facing resource, it will be a tool for future medium and heavy duty fleet owners and operators to use and reference when considering mobile charging solutions. Okay, so that is it for the scope. So now I'm going to pass it along to Claire.
Thanks, Devin. So now I'm just going to review some of our high-level application details that we'd like to flag for those of you who are interested in submitting proposals. So first off, in terms of budget and eligibility, like Devin said earlier, the total budget for this program is $5,430,000, and all applicants are required to propose budgets associated with the 3 scopes of work and the tasks associated with the 3 scopes of work. As we know, this program is funded by ARPA, and as such, it will follow the Justice 40 initiative. So in accordance with the Justice 40 initiative, applicant teams are strongly encouraged to direct 40% of the overall program benefits to LIDACs. And there's a link provided in the slide and in the RFP webpage to learn more about the Justice 40 initiative. In terms of eligible applicants, applicants are encouraged to form teams comprised of multiple entities, which will work together on one proposed project with one entity designated as the lead applicant. In terms of our supplier diversity goals, applicant teams are strongly encouraged to include diverse suppliers, Massachusetts-based vendors, and small businesses. MassCC also encourages applicants to aim to allocate 25% of the total funding to diverse suppliers. And we recognize that this is an aspirational goal that we would like teams to work towards. It is not a requirement of the program if you fall short of that 25% goal. And again, there's a link provided here to visit the SDO directory to learn more about those requirements. In terms of our application details, proposals must be submitted in electronic form as one PDF file, and it will include all relevant attachments. Proposals must be submitted via email to the Clean Transportation inbox with MHG Mobile Charging Solutions RFP proposal in the subject line so that we're able to track those down as they come in. And then in terms of the submission packages, the applicant should include the signature and acceptance form, which is attachment A, the proposal with each subsection that is detailed in the RFP on page 11, the sample contract red line, if applicable, and then the budget spreadsheet, if applicable. And again, these documents are linked in the RFP and on the webpage. In terms of our application resources, we will accept questions on a rolling basis until September 9th, 2024 at 4:00 p.m. Eastern Time, and answers to those questions will be posted to our RFP webpage on a rolling basis until September 12th. We encourage you guys to submit questions via email to the Clean Transportation inbox, to the Slack channel, and even today through the Q&A function, and we will do our best to update the Q&A document on the webpage on a rolling basis up until September 12th. Prospective applicants are also encouraged to join the mobile charging Slack channel. Again, this is a great opportunity to network and to form those applicant teams that we were talking about earlier. And once you've joined the Slack channel, please introduce yourself just so that others are aware that you have joined and are ready to network and to introduce themselves to you. Lastly, I would like to point you to the mobile charging webpage. This is a great resource for more information regarding the RFP. You can join our mailing list to be notified of other opportunities and to also be notified of updates on this program. And then lastly, a recording of this webinar will be posted to the webpage following the event, along with the slides and an updated Q&A document. So now for our application timeline, we just wanted to go over some of our dates that have passed and those that are coming up so that we are all aware of the application process and the timeline that we are following. So the Mobile Charging Solutions RFP was released on August 16th, which brings us to today, August 27th for our webinar. So our next upcoming deadline is September 9th, and that is when all questions are due to Mass CEC via email to the Clean Transportation inbox. They can be submitted through Slack, like I said, or even today through the Q&A function. And then we will get all of those questions answered on a rolling basis up until September 12th. That will be our final day to update you with all of our answers, which will give you enough time to use that Q&A document to inform your applications, which are due on September 19th by 4:00 p.m. Eastern Time. And again, like I said earlier, all proposals should be submitted via email and an electronic PDF to the Clean Transportation inbox. And then lastly, interviews, if necessary, will take place throughout September with an award decision happening in October 2024. And then lastly, like Devin said earlier, we wanted to go over some of the FAQs that were submitted through the registration link. So first off, we would just like to reiterate that applicants are encouraged to form a team with sub-vendors to provide all the requisite experience required for the scope of work. Proposals must be submitted by one lead applicant, and that application must clearly identify applicant team sub-vendors in their respective roles and experience and how that pertains to the deployment of the program. In terms of applicant teams, we encourage all applicant teams to be Massachusetts-based. However, those teams with entities that are out of state are still eligible to apply. In terms of our supplier diversity goals, we do encourage applicants to allocate 25% of the total funding to diverse suppliers. However, applicants who fall short of that goal can still apply. And then in terms of the Justice 40 initiative, like we said earlier, as this program is funded through ARPA funding, it must fall in line with the Justice 40 initiative, which makes it a goal that 40% of the overall benefits of this program will flow to disadvantaged communities that are marginalized by underinvestment and overburdened by pollution. So again, funds awarded through this program are subject to that requirement. And then lastly, we would like to review the term length of the program as it is accelerated due to the ARPA funding requirements. Contracting will be completed by December 31st, 2024. Work will begin in January 2025. And then all funds must be paid to the technical consultant by December 31st, 2026. So that is about a 2-year program term. And that is it from us, unless Devin, you have anything else to add?
Oh, I think that was great. It is a bit of a quick presentation, so definitely we'll stay on for some more time and really encourage everybody to put questions in the Q&A. That way we can go and answer them for everybody later. Okay, so we got a couple questions right now. That's great. And I'll just wait another minute or so and hopefully people can put more questions and we'll see how we go. But if that's good enough for you, you are more than welcome to take your leave, but we will stay here for just a little bit longer just to see if there's any other questions or comments. Or if anyone wants to introduce themselves in the chat and talk to one another, we can stay on for that. All right, I think those are all the questions we're going to get. So I just want to say to everyone, thank you so much for coming. We look forward to hearing more from you, and I hope that